Hi again then guys, and so we've got another GranTurismo 6 top speed tune for you today, and this time it's for the Nissan GT-R N24 by Schulze Motorsport. Now there are more than one version of the Schulze GT-R, so for this particular tune make sure you get the right one, the 2011 N24 Schulze Motorsport. So you want your racing soft tyres. For suspension, we've got the ride height on 70, front and rear. Springs, we've got on 27.75 and 13.25. Dampers and anti-roll to 4. Camber on 2. Neutral toe, as always. For the gearbox, we've got an auto setting of 230. Then we've rounded off the gears to 3.1, 2050, 1470, 1100, 870 and 720, with a final drive of 3.3. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and lowest braking, and a torque split of 30/70 to reduce high speed understeer. You want all of your power upgrades, of course, and your downforce set as low as possible, along with a stage 3 weight reduction. Traction control is of course turned off as always, and I would recommend to anyone using literally any car, always turn your traction control off. It slows the car down a lot. Having it on, that is. But as far as performance, this is actually a pretty strong car. It's one of the stronger GT class racing models in terms of top speed. Now the top speed obviously isn't on the same level as, say, a Ferrari FXX or a Zonda R, but it is very quick for a GT class machine. Most of them tend to hover around the 220 to 240 region, with the majority of them being around the 230 region. So this one is actually quicker than many of the, I guess you could say, more mainstream GT class racers, with a cruising speed of about 243, 244, which is pretty good for a car with so much downforce and aerodynamic appendages working against top speed. And an interesting little thing that I personally like about this car is the asymmetrical exhausts. You have the twin exhaust on one side, but no exhausts on the other side, which I actually think is really cool. I love cars that do that. It's a shame more manufacturers don't do that, in my opinion. For any motorcycle fans, the BMW S1000RR motorbike with a different sized headlight on one side of the front end compared to the other. I love stuff like that, but it's a shame that more manufacturers don't do that. But anyway, we're off topic. It has a cruising speed of about 243, 244, like I said, when it settles down. As you can see, you are pretty much on the red line. You've got a tiny, tiny bit of draft potential, only about probably 250 at best. So this is strictly a top speed tune for the car on its own, for when you're in, say, a GT class race and you're on like Lasarte or something like that, where you need that extra bit of speed, but not necessarily draft potential. If, however, you do decide to use this for obviously higher level draft, like 260, 270, 280, which the car can do because it's got more than enough power to do that, then obviously you'll want to extend your final drive by, say, 0.300 or 0.400 lower. Now that does affect your cruising speed, of course, but it does give you a lot more draft potential. So it just depends what you plan on using the car for, really. But overall, it's a pretty good racing model. It actually has better handling at high speed than the Nismo YouTube-sponsored RJN GT-R, which, for any of you who did GT Academy, you win that car for last year's GT Academy. And that car, for some strange reason, just has absolutely awful high-speed handling. It literally cannot get around the corner on this track without hitting the wall. Not unless you slow down to like 200 miles per hour, which is ridiculous. This car, though, can handle the corner perfectly, so it outclasses the Nismo version immediately. So if you haven't tried this car before, it's actually a really decent racing car with a pretty good top speed for the class, as we already said. And if you do decide to use this tune, obviously I hope you find it helpful and competitive. If you did, feel free to subscribe. I put out new top speed tunes every day. And as always, thanks for watching.